Tom, and I have got a round 2 model review for you.
Here's actually 2 of the bags. Most of the rest of the parts, at least the major parts, the nacelles are definitely looking like they're going to be really sturdy. Look, check out that engineering on the back side. Channel down the middle for your wires, very nice touch. And an indentation for the window inserts as well. Neck itself is definitely a really good sized piece here. Lots of room on the inside, tongue and groove connection on these as well. Yes indeed, tongue and groove. Some really fine detailing on the intercoolers there. This is about as close as I can get to the bridge here. Definitely nice. The landing bay itself is very well detailed, as are the walls. This is the bottom piece of the engineering hall, where the stand will go into. Then the engine details is here as well, up by the front of the Bussards. Speaking of which, that's definitely a solid housing going on for the Bussard fronts specifically. These 2 pieces are the clamps for the bottom of the pylons, I'm guessing. Here's a really nice touch. You get a closed clamshell and an open one. Outer deflector housing, and then the BC deck here. Definitely a chunk of styrene to cut off of that. I don't know if this was attached over here. It very well might have been, but it simply fell off over time. Tongue and groove connection to help eliminate any light leaks. Very deep plastic for the windows. A nice piece. This has the suggestion of the texture that's on the saucer, but not quite. How about the neck here? I didn't think to check for that. Yeah, this also has the suggestion of texture. Not quite perfectly flat smooth, like these pieces definitely are. So I wonder if that's to simulate the paint that was on the model, or I can't imagine the studio model itself had that feature. But who knows? I'll check in with Jamie so that by the time I finish recording all these videos, I'll have an update for you. I do love that bridge. This here is the 3rd bag of plastic for the ship. The rest of it is all windows. So let's take a look at this before we get too much further. I had to go to the directions and take a look at this since there's 3 of these, but that is in fact 3 of the same part, 17, which is the spike on the front of the deflector dish. Bussard rings, inner rail for the nacelle on this one as well. This is in fact the top of the impulse thing that goes on. Ah, there we go. Nice. So that's a really nice touch that they did these in 2 separate pieces here. Housing for the LEDs on the Bussards. There's some really fine detail going on this piece and all of these. See if I can get some harsher shadow going on. And much to my surprise, check out all this fine detailing right there. And that is on both sides of the impulse deck. So some of the blemishes in the plastic here, that's definitely, I'm pretty sure that's definitely a temperature issue when they poured the plastic, or injected it rather. But that is the sort of thing that does mean that you really do need to paint this. But it is really nice that they've molded it in color. One thing that kind of struck me as curious is these little indentations at the top of the end cap, and they do in fact go all the way through. And of course over here on this sheet, that's got to be what those two little balls are for there. So next up, let's take a look at some windows. I'm glad I kept all this clear plastic for all together. Basically, it's 3 of every sprue in different colors. This is not black. This is in fact a dark tint, which is definitely see-through. White, and of course clear for everything. Detail on the lower sensor dome is really nice. The bridge dome is really nice and clear. And all of these windows are definitely deep enough to reach through that really dense plastic. Chances are you're going to want to use a mix of all 3 sprues to build your model. If you're going to get it accurate to the studio scale that was seen on TV, you're going to be using a mix of all 3 of them. So it's a really nice touch that Round 2 decided to include this. They certainly didn't have to. You could paint out certain windows if you wanted, or do whatever, but that's definitely still a very nice touch. Here's everything for the Dussards, and it looks like a couple other minor windows that, pretty sure like that one there will go in the saucer, probably those as well, navigation lights, etc. Then the detail here, that's just really nice on this piece. Really good groove going on the sides. And having that inner pipe there to reach into the fan motors, if you decide to get that part, it's definitely a good touch. I should also mention that most of the sprue have Roman numerals on them to help you figure out what goes where. So there's a 9 or an 11 on that one, for example. So yeah, that is pretty much all of the parts. Let's see what she looks like taped up, hey? Alright. Gosh dang. Of course the nacelles are sitting in here loose, so they do have a lot of flex going on. The neck slots in really nice and tightly. The pylons and the nacelles, like I said, there's looseness there, but that's simply because they're not glued in right now. Sitting at their proper angle. That's definitely correct. Wow. The bridge, BC deck, slotted in really nice and tight. I had to put more tape around the saucer to get a better fit on that. Again, the neck slotted in really nicely on that. And I'm going to have to wait until tomorrow when my girlfriend gets home from work to show you exactly how big this thing really is. So, what's up next? Let's take a look at some accessory packs in part 3.